Um, so, pardon me. I I don't know if anybody has taken the time to check out uh, Alan Watts. He I think he was British. He gave some really good lectures back when I think he's passed away, but all of his lectures are, well, mostly on YouTube or podcasts, whatnot. People have kind of cut them, or sometimes you can find a whole one. And he talks about some very interesting stuff that I sort of have experienced, but definitely don't have the wherewithal to explain. So I would say if you are curious about some deeper ideas about, I guess, sort of the nature of reality, I would check that out. Now, I wrote a couple things down, so I will just, 1 second, I will kind of go through that a little bit with all of you. Okay, so when back when I was meditating quite a bit, I had some realizations. I had some realizations about how the nature of reality is pieced together. And this was quite jarring at the time. And it took me to a place where I wasn't sure what was important anymore, because I got very deep into the ideas of like how little we know about the nature of reality, and how little I could ever know about the nature of reality. And so that asking these certain types of questions and trying to find deeper truths about the universe with only having my own self as a reference was quite overwhelming. And so it took me to a place of not exactly trusting the nature of reality, because I figured that I didn't really know if I was seeing anything as how it really was. And so I didn't quite trust that I ever saw anything as deeply and truly as it actually was. Which is true. I can't necessarily see the full truth of anything, especially with my senses, which is pretty much all I have to go off of. So it's quite exhausting, I think, or overwhelming. I don't know. Trying to understand how the universe works on the deepest level, and also trying to function as like a normal person. So these these sorts of realizations took me quite deep into my mind, and I lived there for quite a while. And I was so deep in there. Let's see, I wrote this down. Well, anyways. So because I was so deep in my own mind, I was kind of lost in there, and it was sort of like nothing really seemed important, and at the same time everything seemed really, really important. And I think both of those things were true for me. But I kind of lived in that space for a number of years, and it took a long time to come out of that and be able to come back to who I was before. I became quite withdrawn and quiet, and stopped really communicating because I had convinced myself that the only truth could be realized or discovered in moments of silence. So my life sort of consisted of seeking out those moments of silence, and so then I just withdrew. Now, now that I've been able to kind of pull myself out of that, for the most part, I mean, partially I wanted to share with other people in case they are either going through the same thing or feel like they want to get into meditation. And then I guess this would be sort of a little bit of a warning of like not to not do it, but just to be aware that this is sort of a risk, I guess. It was probably good for me in the long run, but there was a lot of years of, not being very present. So because of all of that, I currently don't have, I don't really trust meditation, I think, because I don't want to get into it again and go back down that rabbit hole. But I also think that it's very interesting and something I want to explore, to try and figure out the truth and the nature of reality at every level. So it's a bit of a contradiction, or And I'm sure part of it was just simply that I was doing meditation sort of incorrectly as like an escape instead of it. Yeah, it became like an escape instead of just another tool in the toolkit. So I mean, I guess that would be one thing I could say is like, be careful not to make meditation an escape for yourself. But anyways, so I mean, I'm still trying to figure that out, but I would say, I guess, well, I don't really have a conclusion. I mean, check out Alan Watts. He's very interesting. He knows a lot more about this, or he did. His lectures are really good. But I guess just be aware that if you go to listen to some of his stuff and you get curious and you start asking these questions about reality and digging into this, you may have some sort of existential crisis. So yeah, just for your information. But yeah, okay. Thank you.